Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and today we are doing an eyeshadow look inspired by the shirt I am currently wearing, which is from The Lion King, Hakuna Matata. So that's the colors we are going to be focusing on. Before I hit record, I've already done a few things that you'll want to have done before you begin. I have done black eyeliner on my upper eyelids. I have put a white eyeliner on my waterline. I have filled in my eyebrows, and I have also put concealer around my eyebrows and then gone over everything with my finishing powder. First step we will take before I apply any more products to my eyelids is my favorite cheat sheet, Scotch tape. By putting Scotch tape on the outside of my eyes, I will be able to make a sharper winged liner later because I do not have steady hands. If you're worried about being able to pull the tape off later without hurting your skin, I suggest applying it to someplace like the back of your hand first, then taking it off, then applying it. That way it's not quite as sticky and won't pull so hard on your skin when it's time to take it off. When you apply the tape, you want it relatively close to your lower lash line, but obviously not on top of it. You don't want to impede your vision, and you still want to be able to close your eyes. And for me, because my eyebrows do extend somewhat far, I use that as a guide of the angle that I will want my eyeliner to go later. And then the next thing you worry about is making sure they're even when you do the other side. When you're laying your tape, you also want to make sure that you don't accidentally bunch up the skin in the crease of your eye there so that you have clean lines when you are applying product later. Next, you want to apply your eyeshadow primer. I use the NYX Proof It waterproof eyeshadow liner just because that's the one that I've had the best luck with. I apply it to my lid using the wand, but then I blend it out using clean fingers. When it comes out of the tube, it does appear more of a white or cream color, but it does dry translucent. At least it appears translucent on my skin tone. As you're applying it, you want to make sure to take special care to get the product close to your lash line in particular, because that is where you have the most moisture from tear production, whether from happiness or sorrow or dust. Lots of dust and cat hair. I'm talking to you, Dolly! If you extend a little bit into the inner eye, that is okay, especially if you plan to put some product there later. And I just go all the way up to my brow line, even over top of my concealer, because I will be blending eyeshadow out there later. The reason I blend product out with my fingers is for a few reasons. One, to keep the product placement from being too patchy, so I don't have a bunch of product in some places and not much in others. It creates a smoother canvas when you apply product later. But also, for example, up to the brow line is so that you don't have a harsh transition from your eyeshadow to the rest of your face. You want to give it time to dry before you apply anything else. You can either fan at your face if you want to speed it along, or, which I would suggest doing this anyway, apply a light layer of your finishing powder so that when you apply your eyeshadow later, it keeps the brush from dragging too much across the lid, because it does make your lid slightly tacky and can displace some of the product, which doesn't help you have a smooth finish. And again, if you notice that any of the products started to settle into your creases at all, just quick smooth it out before it dries too much. So while it's drying, you may want to leave your eyes shut. I also recommend this because I personally struggle with not blinking enough when I'm applying eye products, and then my eyes are red and irritated by the time I want to take selfies when I'm done, because I have spent an hour staring wide-eyed at myself, and it dries my eyes out really quick. And I imagine it'd be worse if you wear contacts. Just saying. When you're ready to apply your eyeshadow, you want to pick a color that's going to blend nicely into the rest of your skin tone, and you will want a nice fluffy brush for this. This is a Farah brush. I don't know the name of it or anything because this brush was a gift from my friend Paige. It was out of her Etsy bag. The palette I'm going to be using the most today is my BH Cosmetics Aurora Lights palette, and the shade I'm going to start with is the shade Prismatic. It looks like a really bright pink there, but once you put it on, it is not quite as pigmented, but it gives a nice transition look. And I'm going to mostly apply this all over, but especially take care to blending it, the crease upward towards my brow bone. The nice thing about having the tape is I don't have to worry about accidentally getting it too far and bringing my eyes down in the process. I will also be bringing the color down along the tape so that it's almost a words are hard, fam, that it creates an L shape. This is so that when I apply a darker color later, it isn't so harsh against my skin and it will blend more nicely. If the tape starts to come away from your eye a little bit, that is okay, especially when it's more under your eye. Just gently push it back down if you wish so that you're not getting tape in your eye. But that's another reason you want to make sure when you're doing the outer part of your eye that you are only brushing it downwards, because that way you're not pulling the tape up as you go. The next brush I will be using is this Moda brush, designed specifically for the crease. These brushes were really nice. I just got them from Walmart in a pack. It was only maybe $10, and I specifically like them because I am terrible at remembering out what brushes are for what, and these are very clearly labeled for each job they do, and this is made for the crease. The next color I'm going to be using is Gleaming. This is the purple color right next to it. This color is going to go along your crease, along the tape, and just slightly along your top lash line. You don't need to apply a lot of product at first because you can always add more later, but you can't take away. You want to deposit the most amount of product at the corner here. You are blending it over and upward so that it blends into your brow bone a bit. I would also like to note that you may see my brushes passing over my eyelashes as I am blending it downward. That is okay, and that is why I leave my mascara until last. That way I'm not getting mascara on my brushes, and so that it doesn't turn my eyelashes into whatever color I am currently trying to apply to my eyelids. Next, because I want to make sure that the colors that will be going on my eyelid will pop, I am going to use my Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade White. It is from NYX, and this is just to give it a nice white base so that whatever colors I put on top of it will really get to shine through, because it's not fighting with my eyelid color or the other eyeshadow colors. Unfortunately, I don't have a brush for super precise application, but that is okay. This will work for me. And I'm going to blend it out with my Beauty Blender. The reason I'm using my Beauty Blender to blend this out is because this is not a fluffy product like my eyeshadows are. It's a little bit creamier, like a concealer, so it needs a more appropriate tool. As you can see, I have not brought the product all the way over to the edge of my eyelid. That is because we still have those nice transition colors that we are building around the outside. This is just for the other colors that I will be applying that are lighter, and we really want to make them show up in all of their glory. If you don't have a blender to do this, if you've been applying your foundation, whatnot, with brushes rather than sponges, you can also use your finger to gently pat out the color. That will also suffice. Just like I applied powder on top of my primer before putting on any other product, I'm also going to apply my finishing powder on the jumbo eye pencil to just make sure that when I use my brushes that it has a smoother glide so it doesn't get stuck on any of the wetter product. The next palette I'm going to use is my NYX Beauty School Dropout palette. There's a lot of colors in here that I use and lots that I don't. I'm going to use the nice orange color that we have. Whoop, sorry, I still keep the plastic on there to try to keep things as sanitary as possible. But I'm going to use the orange. For this color, I'm going to use my small shader brush, also from Moda. This has shorter bristles and they are stiffer, which is why they are good for applying lid colors. You don't want to use sweeping motions when you're applying a lid color. You want to gently pat it onto the lid so that you're applying as much product as you can. Admittedly, this is the first time I have used this orange and it's not coming out as brightly as I had hoped. So I am going to switch to this brighter reddish color up here and see if that goes on more like I like. You may notice I'm not bringing the color all the way over to my inner eye. That is because I have another color in mind for that region. Unfortunately, it's not the bright orange that I was hoping for, but that's what I have to work with, and that's what we're gonna stay with. For the inner corners, I'm going back to my Aurora Lights palette. Now I am going to use my Moda Detail brush, which it is fluffy, but it's also smaller, so I can get into those smaller areas. The color I'm going to use for this is the shade Sparkling. It's this nice gold color up here. I lied. The detail brush isn't getting it onto the brush as well as I liked because I think it's just too soft of a brush. So I am going to go back to the small shader, which has stiffer bristles. How I clean in between shades, because I don't have a shade switch, is I just take the back of my hand, which my hands are clean, and I just work the product off as much as I can until my brush starts appearing clean. That way it doesn't contaminate the colors when I go apply the next color. Let's try this again, shall we? Your girl is struggling today. All aboard the struggle bus. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Now we're talking. One day I'll get a color switch like a big girl. Since it's such a light color, that's why it was so important to put the white on underneath, because otherwise I don't think this yellow would be showing up well at all, do you? My headband is trying to escape. Oh no. Pray for me. Now that we're finished putting color on our lids, we're going to go back to that outer corner shade with Gleaming on our crease brush to make sure that everything blends together nicely. Since you can see some of the color went over my crease, that helps hide your mistakes a little bit. It also helps if any of the white took away from your darker color. It just keeps everything all blended together more nicely. Because I'm a tad bit extra, I'm going to go back with my detail brush and use the color Ombre. It's this white. Once it goes on, it's a very shimmery, opalescent type color. And I'm going to apply that on my inner eyelid just a little bit, which helps make your eye look more open and just generally draws a little bit of attention to the inner eye. And I'm also going to apply it a little closer to my brow bone. Then for just a little extra oomph, because I can never have enough glitter in my life, I have one more brush. It is the Brow Groomer brush, also from the Moda pack. I'm going to use my angled brush at the end here. And with my Beauty School Dropout palette, there is a highlight shade. You can see here. This color here. It's very, very shimmery. Dip it in ever so lightly, and I'm just going to go along my under eyebrow. Stay very tight to it. A little bit goes a long way. You don't need very much. That brings us to the end of the eyeshadow portion. So you are welcome to go over it with your setting powder. You don't have to. I like to, just because I like feeling like something is being held together in my life. Now we're going to proceed with eyeliner. I'm using the Maybelline New York Eye Studio shade Black. It is a gel liner. I do like the brush that came with it. I find it has some nice control. Just comes in a nice little pot like this. But the color does come out very heavy, so you want to be very careful that you don't put it on too harsh. And again, that's why I like the tape. We're going to apply this to the upper lash line in very short strokes. And we're going to start with the lash line and we'll work our way outward to the tape as we finish. I start at the outer part of the eye because it's more forgiving, especially since we're going to go nuts with the wing shortly. So if I don't make a straight line, we'll get to cover up our mistakes. By the time we get to the wing portion, again, using my lovely tape as a cheat sheet, is I tend to just start from the tape shorter than where you want your wing to end up, because that way if you need to extend it farther to make it sharper, you have the wiggle room to do so. And I start outward and bring it in rather than the other way around. Wings are where it's very important to be doing your eyes at the same time as you go, rather than doing one eye entirely, then doing the second eye, because you really want to make sure that they are even. While your eyeliner is still drying, this is when I work on setting my gel liner, because it is so thick, you need to take extra care with it. I have a nude palette. It's by Glam & Beauty. I got it for like $5 at Walmart. This might be the only thing that I use black eyeshadow for. I have an angled eyeshadow brush from e.l.f. It's a small angled brush. And I take a little bit of the black and you just pat the eyeshadow on top of the black liner. The reason that you pat the eyeshadow on rather than wipe it is because you'll just wipe the eyeliner off, and why would you want to ruin all your hard work? I've done it before. I cried a lot. Especially because my orange eyeshadow didn't work out very well. I am going to add a gold liquid liner on top of my black liner, just so we can get some of that golden sunset feel in the look. Still leaving the tape on my eyes, I am going to very, very carefully draw a gold line on top of my black liner. You'll see what I mean. And once again, I just end it where the tape ends, so it makes a nice natural flick at the end there, and I don't have to do much work on that at all. Full disclosure, main reason I found NYX was through an internet friend, because I found out she had this gold liner and I had a deep need to get gold eyeliner after seeing The Hunger Games, because Katniss's style coach, whose name is suddenly escaping me, had gold eyeliner in one of the movies, and I loved how it made his brown eyes look, and it called to me and I needed it. And that's how I found out about these eyeliners, and it was actually my first introduction to NYX products in general. So not sponsored, just a massive nerd. This is more of a wet liner, so you will want to let it dry before you do much of anything else with it. Although I already have my faux white eyeliner on my waterline, I am still going to put on this lavender shimmer eyeliner, just like how I used my jumbo eye pencil to lay a base to make my lid colors brighter. Same concept applies for my lower waterline. The thing with eye pencils is sometimes you have to warm them up a little bit before you apply them. Otherwise it doesn't go on very smoothly. So especially if you're doing that with something that's going so close to your eyeball, make sure you do it on a clean surface. Now this is where I get to have lots of fun. I actually have two mascaras. One you have seen previously in other videos, the Ulta Beauty Waterproof Amp Lashes, which just goes on black, and that is what I'm going to apply to my upper lashes. But to add a little pop of color, I also have this NYX Color Mascara, and this is what I'm going to apply to my lower lashes to help accentuate that purple eyeliner that I just used. I'm going to do it with the tape still on. You do not have to. I just like it as a little buffer in case I accidentally miss. Ooh, look at that purple! And now, peely peely. Look at those nice clean lines. Yes, clean. Now I'm going to proceed with my lovely HD finishing powder. Because my skin is still being a butt, I'm actually not going to apply any more makeup today, unless it's just like lip gloss. After all, where am I going? Nowhere! Once again, take special care to get under the eye and around where all the moisture is going to be so that you don't get smudging later. You probably will anyway, but can't say we didn't try. Because I won't be applying any other product, all I have to do is add finishing spray and I'm done. However, if you were doing a full face of makeup, this is where you would start applying your foundation, your blush, your contour, all that good stuff. But I'm not doing that today. This is the completed look. You have a nice transition of colors, and it's nice and shimmery the way I like it. If you have any questions or comments, anything you want me to expand on, let me know in the comments down below. If you have any specific looks you want me to try, I really don't have much of a plan for this channel other than what I'm making up as I go. What are you doing during quarantine? I'm watching a lot of Disney Plus. Obviously, forever a Disney kid. Hopefully I'll get the next video out to you soon. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Stay safe, wash your hands, and please stay home.